So they don't get banned by Riot. Technically, there's somebody there, but
Right.
like, yeah, the chat's playing, and the chat just hit gold 4, right? And I'm iron 1. So the chat is better than me, apparently. So
Hey,
which
man.
I
that's
would
a hit to my
disagree with
ego.
that. Yeah,
I
I'll
would say
disagree
2
with
heads are better than 1. So if you got like thousands of heads, I can only.
So what's your favorite league team then? You're a 100 Thieves guy, aren't you?
Oh, dude, 100 Thieves the day I die. When I heard Nade Shot was gonna be making it, I was like, oh, we gotta follow them big time.
I'm gonna be honest. I think Goatus actually knows more about the current league scene than I do. But
Nice.
No, I don't.
not at all. Okay, I know 100
Nah.
Thieves is actually after my time, so I was really into it when like TSM and CLG had like that massive rivalry. I think that they
Yeah.
might still have one, but like both
A
teams
little
seem
bit.
like kind of irrelevant. I don't know. Is TSM still relevant? Like, what's going on?
So TSM is like one of the top teams right now. I will say from my opinion, and it's more of an opinion than a fact, I think they're kind of a wild card. They're not super consistent against the other top teams. Like they either do really, really good or they're kind of like, I don't know, they don't show themselves to be a top team. But stats wise, they're doing phenomenal. So TSM have a pretty good chance of making it to Worlds.
Oh, okay. How's 100
Yeah.
Thieves doing?
Oh man, I can go on for hours on that. So, long story short, last split we did terrible.
Okay.
We lost almost every single game except I want to say 2 to 3 games.
That's like me in normal league.
Yeah, exactly. That's like me in normal league too in ranked last season. And this split, we lost our first 5 matches, which I predicted we would because we got a new jungler and we got a new mid laner. And when you have a new jungler, it takes so much time for like the synergy to like get there with the support player. So I was like, oh, dude, we're gonna lose our first 4 matches guaranteed, maybe our 5th. And then after that, we'll start popping off, which is what's happening. So now we're kind of like the wild card of the LCS, which is amazing. It's really satisfying. The only complaint I have about LCS right now is like, especially with 100 Thieves, I gotta be very careful with how I say this because I don't want to like get anyone mad. But compared to sports, LCS fans are very toxic, and they jump ship super fast, and it's super weird to see as a kid that's followed sports before gaming.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who's the new jungler? Isker Daddy's wondering.
Amazing. Literally, that's his name, and the dude is quite literally amazing.
I was like,
he's got a really good history.
I was like, that's not what I asked, but like, who? Yeah,
Yeah,
that's,
yeah, that's literally his user. Oh
amazing.
God, I don't know if you know him, dude. He's got some serious skill. The guy is very vocal, and he communicates beautifully with the team, which is something that honestly we were lacking. So, he's an amazing addition to the team.
You know whose stream has been popping off recently that I didn't actually know? It might have been popping off for a while. Rush. I remember that guy. He played for like some team. He was pretty irrelevant for a while. He was a jungler or something, right?
Right.
And now, like, I just saw that he was like a TFT like #1 streamer for a little bit. I was like, what happened to this guy? I don't know what happened to him, but suddenly he was just like #1 streamer. I was like, okay.
Oh wow, I didn't even realize that. That's nuts.
Yeah, I don't know if he still plays competitive, but he used to be #1
No.
Korean solo queue player for a few years. I just remember like in competitive play, he was pretty irrelevant. But
right, talking about TFT, what's your guys' opinion on TFT?
Oh, okay, he's gonna do the segue for us, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, you know what? We should just have Diego on here all the time. This makes it so easy. He like does his own intros, he does his own transitional materials. It's fantastic.
It's awesome having somebody who like who's done a podcast.
Let me know when you
I'm
need
like,
something from me.
I was like, oh, when do we segue? And he's like, I got the segue for you. So yeah.
Yeah, I know what it's like, man. I've been on a podcast, or I have a podcast. So
well, I will give you my opinion on TFT because this topic originated right where we got freaking Melinda in chat. I love that.
Oh, let's go. Welcome to the chat, Melinda.
No, this topic originated. I wanted to talk about TFT, but particularly when I saw an article that said TwitchPlaysTFT. I don't know if you had ever like heard of it. It's basically like just a program. Everyone's heard of Twitch Plays, I'm assuming by now. Chat says something, the screen does something, the screen plays the game like that. So people have been like choosing what units that TFT will buy. Like apparently there's a person playing it or something. I don't really know how it works.
What? Okay.
So they don't get banned by Riot. Technically there's somebody there, but like yeah, the chat's playing, and the chat just hit gold 4, right? And I'm iron 1. So the chat is better than me, apparently. So
Hey,
which
that's
a hit to my ego.
That. Yeah,
I would say 2 heads are better than 1. So if you got like thousands of heads, I can only. I got an unfair advantage on you, King.
Here's the thing with the TFT ranked, and I talked with Jordan about this a little bit, and also Isker. It's very, very easy to climb.
Right.
If you come in dead last, you lose like 20 LP.
Nice.
And if you win, you gain 100 LP, and you're like insta promoted. So it's like it's more of a number of grinding the game, like just playing it,
right,
and getting like top 4 finishes, and then like I've only played maybe 15 games of ranked, if that.
Ow.
And I've gone from I'm silver 3 now, so it's like you just climb naturally. It's like designed.
It's designed for you to actually like go up. That makes sense. Like from Riot's standpoint, everybody's so like a lot of people are hard stuck, myself included. I can't get out of silver for the life of me. But everyone's like hard stuck in League, you know, and that can get frustrating. So make a new game mode where you feel like you're progressing, you feel like you're climbing, and then you get hooked on it, and boom, that's just a ton of money made.
I think that's the nice thing about it too. It's like literally it's on the same client. So like you play League. League is obviously a game that can induce a lot of emotions. We've all been there where you're just like, I absolutely hate this game and I'm uninstalling it.
I've never said
I hate
that.
humanity and I hate the internet.
No,
I'm gonna go move to Pennsylvania.
Look, I'm not gonna lie, I don't want to debate with you, and a lot of my friends say the same thing. I don't know why I like losing on League of Legends.
I don't mind it anymore.
I genuinely
I think you can get to a point where if you're not a toxic person, like I'm not surprised when I lose because I'm not a great player to begin with.
Right.
But like, so I don't get mad if I lose. But there are times where like it can be frustrating.
Oh, 100%, 100%.
Having TFT in that same client, you're like, you know what? I'm just gonna take a break. It's like
gonna decompress.
Decompress. Like I don't find TFT frustrating at all.
Right.
I mean, it could be a little irritating, but never like. I'm known as being salty Goatus, and it doesn't make me salty. So it's like, it can't be that bad.
And like,
yeah, I got it. Go ahead.
I've been talking a lot about mentality recently, and I think that's all that it is when you lose. It's you can either lose and be upset about losing, or you can lose and be like, okay, well, why did we lose? Or like, what was going on there? Or what could I have done better?
Dude.
And that's generally when I was in high school, I used to get really angry at games. But like now that I'm not in high school, you'll hear me yell every now and then, but that's mostly just because I like yelling. I'm not actually like genuine. Like I'm not gonna go to sleep angry. I was like, I don't know. I like yelling sometimes, so I do that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. When I started League, I wasn't toxic, but I would get mad super easily, right? And that lasted for a good 6 months. And I think I got mad like so many times with League of Legends that like I got all the toxicity out of my system. Like it just brought out so many inner demons, and now it's like I can't get mad for whatever reason. It's nuts.
We can't be stopped.
Fair with the salty goats. Thank you.
Yo, real quick, I want to stay on the topic of TFT, but like, yo, Isker, Diego, I'm getting back into Final Fantasy 14 soon. Yes, my dude, it's so good, this expansion.
Yeah, chat's popping. Hang on, let's catch up here real quick. Melinda, you're not even send me a friend invite because I play all the time. Because I'll invite you every time. I invite Shy all the time, and she always ignores me. She's always like, with a friend who's streaming tomorrow.
That's me normally.
So I can't play with you.
That's fair. That's fair.
Snooey, raising my will to live, it doesn't work. I cry at how much RNG hates me. We're gonna talk strategy, I think, a little bit probably in this game. And RNG is not as critical, I think, as I think people like to chalk off things to RNG to make themselves feel better. Yeah. But there's a way to beat RNG.
There is. It's all about
like,
working
what
around
items you get, like that can matter a little bit, and obviously like what you roll, but there's a way to address it.
It's always like it's working with what you get, you know? Like
it's being able to I don't think people realize this. If you're like pre-Krugs and you sell your entire team and restart, like that's not necessarily a bad move. Depending on how bad your team is and what you have on the board still. Like
I have times where I'll be chilling at 21 gold and I will sell my whole bench just to get to that 30 gold mark because I'm like, I don't like any of this. I got one cannon and I like the cannon and I'm gonna sell everything else.
Well, it's like poker. Poker's like super like known to everybody to be RNG, but if you actually play it, there's so many things you can do to minimize it and actually gain the upper hand. I know I used to play a lot of poker back in New York City.
Yeah, knowing how the deck works, and I don't think a lot of people do understand how that. In fact, I'm gonna do this. I don't know if this is gonna work.
Unless you go against brand, that's what you mean, Diego. Okay, I will say the only thing that tilts me in League is if I'm playing support, I'm not Pike, and I go against brand. My feelings,
Kind of
destroyed.
worse. Your face is cropped now
Ooh.
with the new webcam setup, so it's gonna look a little.
Okay, I was gonna say because this has well, hang on, I can make this work still. We can make this work.
You could be like the what do you call it? The divine voice
I
that
still.
shows us guides.
I haven't set up a new screen for this yet, but we'll get around to it.
We're gonna do this, and then we're gonna do this. We're gonna
I
figure
like
this
it. I
out.
like it.
Yeah. Oh god, no, this is working less than I thought. I tried. There are very specific drops and number of cards for each champion.
Right.
I think that actually that might be working pretty well right there. I'll kind of leave it there, but you can see like tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, tier 5, and what those percentages are as you level.
Right.
You could work those odds, and like there's less RNG than people realize. I think, ultimately.
Oh, interesting. So I'm gonna be honest. I have played a total of 3 TFT matches.
Okay.
Every single TFT match. 1, I have no idea what I'm doing. And 2, I'm like that weird guy that just doesn't enjoy TFT as much. I think a lot of that has to do with like how much energy I got, and I like my brain has to like constantly be active. So just watching the scene play out by itself kind of doesn't entertain me.
That's fair.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
at the same time, I also don't understand the game, and that can possibly like So for anyone new like myself, what would you do to like explain TFT to a brand new person?
Ooh.
Like, are you saying like explain like the game itself or explain the appeal?
I guess both. I'm more curious for the appeal because we got big shots like Valkyrie and other people from 100 Thieves. I don't know any other content creators, but they're coming from games like Fortnite, first-person shooters, Call of Duty, and they've dropped those games to just play TFT. And that blows my mind because the genre is so different, yet they're hooked. And I'm like, what's the appeal? What's getting these people so hooked into it?
For me particularly, the thing that I'm really enjoying about it is somebody said it earlier. It's like you can just play a game and it doesn't need to be like a big involvement in anything. And like
Right.
as a content creator, I've been working really hard on my content a lot recently, and I just like sometimes I want to take a break, and it's such an easy thing for me to do to log on to League. There's 8 slots, so there's always a group going or something that I can join into. If some of my friends are playing, I could play 1 or 2 games, and I could be like, okay, I'm gonna get back to the stuff I was doing. And it's really like what's the expression? No skin off my shoulder or something. That's a thing.
No skin off my back,
yeah. Okay.
It's just I hop in, play a game, and then I leave. It's just like it's so relaxing. Whereas like if and we're gonna talk about Final Fantasy later, and I'm really intrigued by it. I kind of want to play it, but I don't know if I have the time investment to play it. Because I can't do that. I can't log in and play for like an hour and then like switch. Just because you get hooked.
I feel that.
Yeah, but that's me. Goatus, you were gonna say something. I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, the appeal is the fact that it's not a mechanical skill game. Where like I got so I'm an old dude, right? I'm 32. Like I'm at the end of my lifespan, and
still got a lot of years left.
No, 32. It's like it's over. Like 3 more years. Tops.
No, you got a lot of years left, then.
But like honestly, at 30, I'm not saying like 32 is like really over the like hill, but it's pretty well. There's no 32-year-old esports players, that are playing MOBAs and stuff. Like your hand-eye coordination, it isn't as sharp as somebody that's like 2021. And on top of it, if you haven't played MOBAs a lot, which I never did, I didn't get into MOBAs until recently.
Right.
So like I'm at a very inherent disadvantage. Like I have to win games with like timing and game knowledge.
Yep.
Like I'm not beating anybody mechanically, right? Like that's not going to happen.
Yeah, like for me, I played League so long that I know like ability cooldowns like to the T. So like I know when people are going to use their ability. You don't.
I have to. Yeah, like I got to do things like play Zoe support to win.
Dude, I love the fact that you said Zoe support. Snowy, if you're in the chat,
Zoe support.
Look, another person does it. I'm not the only one. It's a thing.
I love Zoe support. I love Zoe support.
Yeah.
Goatus just made a new best friend
anymore, and I'll stop to play Zoe support. I love Zoe. Yeah, she's great. But like, so a game like TFT where all the critical thinking that I have in a game still applies without having to mechanically do anything is so appealing. It's just so enjoyable because when I lose, I don't have to like trick myself into why I lost. I don't have to be like, damn kid probably stays at home and just plays MOBAs all day. And it's like I lost because like I didn't play the situation as well as he did.
Right.
And that, like, I'm okay with that, as opposed to like admitting that like mechanically you're not as good as somebody. It's like it sucks having to do it, but it is, it is what it is.
Right.
You know what I hate? This isn't
What?
going to mean as much to Diego, but I'll explain it to you. And you probably will still understand it, but like you're the kind of guy who will act like they understand it. I appreciate that. In TFT, I got 6 knights. So I was on a night kick, right? Knights suck.
Right.
Just for the record, they're awful.
Got it.
They're not terrible early game, but like late game, they're terrible. And I wanted them to be good so bad because there's like 3 early game knights that you can get, and I just wanted them to be good. Isker says they're better now. Maybe I'll try them more, but they just weren't. And this is why I'm probably Iron 1, is because I kept trying to force a Knights build. I just kept trying to force it.
I feel that.
And what I realized is that you can get 6 Knights and 6 Nobles if you have the right items. So what I was trying to do, because the Nobles buff is very similar to the Knights buff, it's just better. So the Knights buff, at 6 Knights, you get 80 extra armor or something. You take 80 less damage a hit.
Yeah,
and
80 less. Yeah, 80 damage reduction.
And then for the 6 Nobles, you get like 80 armor and then like health regen for all of your characters or all your nobles. So what I was trying to get the 6 Nobles and the 6 Knights, and I did it once, but I still lost because they don't do enough damage. I stalemated like 3 rounds in a row and I lost. And that was the point where I was like, I don't have to go Knights anymore. I will never do it again. Sorry, Isker.
Right.
Glad to hear they're better. I'm not doing it. But my new obsession is assassins, though. I like the ninja assassins.
I was just about to say, dude, on Twitter, everybody's
I got bad news for you. This patch nerfed assassin.
Yeah, they just released the patch notes. I don't know if you.
Man.
Yeah, they
maybe it's time for the Knights to shine. Maybe they're going to be the counter to assassins with all the armor.
I think with the damage reduction to assassins, inherently buffs Knights, but they also buffed Mordekaiser and Poppy, along with. I'm trying to think. Is there anyone else? I think that's really it. Like, I don't think Knights got like super buff.
I don't know what that build is, but it sounds really cool. Demon shapeshifters, like Evelyn.
Evelyn's a demon.
I went with demon shapeshifters. Yeah. So my thing with shapeshifters, and this is what I love about this game. There are builds that are early game, there are builds that are mid game, and there are builds that are late game.
Got it.
And knowing when to completely switch your there's nothing wrong with saying like, hey, I'm gonna go gunslinger pirate for the first 3 stages. Then as I do that, like I'm gonna start buying demon shapeshifter. And like at the end of the game, have a completely different build than where you started. And I think it's like that kind of stuff, like knowing when to do that.
It adds variety.
Yeah, it adds a lot of variety. If you just like, I'm going to go gunslinger pirate, and as soon as I get it, like, I'm not going to like change it. Like, that's what I'm going to do to carry me all the way through. You'll lose every single time because it's not a late game build without very specific supporting characters and items. So
interesting.
Sorcerer Varus with Ranger. Yeah, Varus's special procs with Sorcerer buff, and they buff Sorcerer. They buff three-person Sorcerer, so that's going to be really strong right now.
Okay.
Nice.
I might try that. I like Sorcerers. I like spells. So from somebody who's outside of the scene, who's not playing as much TFT, what's your verdict? Do you think the hype is dying down in the game? Do you think it's staying the same? You think it's getting bigger? Like,
you know, I think that the hype is dying down, but just because you have so many big names in terms of like content creators that are still hooked to the game and can't get enough of it, that alone is going to make it like a huge title as its own game. Like in my opinion, it's so big, I think it deserves its own client.
I feel that. No, I was really disappointed
actually
when they didn't have their own client. But it makes sense, I guess. It's just the League client was never good to begin with. So.
Yeah. That's like the main reason why I want its own client, is just because, like, you know, maybe we can encourage Riot Games to get a new client. It would be really nice.
Isker, sleep is for the weak, but thanks for tuning in, buddy. We love you.
The guy who serves coffee is going to sleep at 7:37, dude.
I was about to
I'm
say,
pretty
if I
sure
was
the
there, I
AI
would
is
make you a
the better
coffee.
barista is.
Yeah.
Oh,
Just
man.
saying.
Yo, thanks for stopping by in the chat. Have an awesome night, Isker.
This guy's so awesome. He's like
Nah, I
diamond
love
or
that dude.
something. He's
Dude,
diamond.
he's really good at the game.
Like, why is he
I've
good
met
at
so many
every game?
diamond friends through Brendan. And I'm just like, oh man, I'm silver, and I'm like talking to these legends.
He's diamond at TFT too, though. Like, I don't know. Like, it's crazy. That guy is so good at games. But